Our next guest is Jenny Tooth, OBE. She's the Chief Executive of UK Business Angels Association. Good evening to you, Jenny.
Good evening.
Now, let me start by saying I hear through the grapevine that you're royalty in this space.
I'm not sure I'm quite the royalty, but I think I've been around for quite a long time in the angel world, and I've got a pretty good insight about what's going on. I look after a community of about 15,000 investors around the UK. Most of them are in groups and networks, lots of individuals, lots of different ways of investing. So I wouldn't say I'm royalty, but I do know quite a lot about this.
You're in charge of quite a lot of people. What's your role?
My role is really running what we call the trade body, and that means I'm there to really connect the community, to help them find good deals, meet great entrepreneurs, some of those you're showing this evening, and to make sure that this whole ecosystem pulls together. As you know, entrepreneurs are all looking to find great investors. There are many investors out there, all different kinds and types. And what we want to try and do is to help the investors find each other so they can connect and create great deals by co-investing, and then also help them to connect to the right entrepreneurs. So we try to make this whole space hang together.
Easier. And how big is the angel market in the UK?
We actually don't know. No. One of the biggest issues is that angels are private individuals. They're going to invest often in their own way. But one thing they do, many angels, as you may know, use tax breaks. We have the most fantastic tax breaks in this country. We're in a unique position. And so they have to put in their tax returns to get their tax breaks. So the government's able to collect stats. So we've got the most interesting overview of the market over time. What's particularly interesting is that 2014, which was the last year when everyone put their tax returns in, the angels actually invested around 1.5 billion using their EIS tax relief in about 2,700 businesses. And that's a huge amount of money, actually more than has ever been invested before in the whole scheme. Compare that with the early stage space for venture capital, and that's only about 280 million for that early stage group of businesses. So it's massively bigger than venture capital and really huge. And to be honest, it's an endless pot because more individuals can keep coming into this market, bringing their money, bringing their great experience. So ideally, we should have an endless pool of angels.
Right. In terms of current investment trends and themes, what are your thoughts there?
The angels are really quite a savvy bunch. They tend to follow what's going on in the market. If you take here in London, we've got a huge focus on fintech, financial tech. You can imagine with so many people who came out of financial services, particularly during the kind of crisis, many of them started angel investing, or indeed, more importantly, have started their own businesses. Yeah. So there's a huge appetite for fintech and some really fantastic companies out there in fintech. Other areas actually are retail tech and using e-commerce and m-commerce because, again, as you know, the rise of the internet and internet shopping and people putting so many things online, that there's a real rise in good and interesting ways of selling and getting goods out there to customers. And again, if you think about what's the other end of things, well, lots of people are investing in healthcare because we all need it, and there's such a need for innovation in that space. So angels are very interested in healthcare too. And then just finally, perhaps what's especially important is that about 1 in 4 angels that we've been talking to do have some of their portfolio in what we'd call social impact investing. So trying to address some of those major social challenges, aging populations, environment, doing something they feel does good as well as putting their money somewhere.
So how do they actually choose what to invest in terms of there's no track record? They're obviously looking at management track records and the likes. What are your thoughts there?
And I'm sure everyone's thought about that this evening as well. I mean, one of the things you have really to go on is the entrepreneur and the team. And when it's a really early stage business, the thing you really look at is that individual, is that team going to really have the capacity to build a great business? I, as an angel, am looking for 10 times return. So will they be able to execute that great business plan that they've put in front of me?
And is that the default, a 10 times return, would you say?
The default is we all look for 10 times return. We don't always get 10 times return. Our research has shown that, overall, you might get some not very high returns, some bigger returns, and you must always expect that about 50% of your deals might fail. That's really something you have to bear in mind.
I thought the headline, statistically, it was a little bit higher than 50%.
Well, I'm saying that because actually our recent research has shown that there's a lot of confidence in the market.
Right.
And I think that we're all getting, more savvy at choosing good deals. There's a lot of companies out there, lots of businesses seeking money. But if you use a good rule of thumb, which is invest in what you know, invest in what you
sound
understand.
like Warren Buffett there.
I do. Invest in what you understand, or invest alongside other people who understand it. Make a mixed portfolio. Always build at least 10 or 15 businesses in your portfolio. Lots of different kinds of things. Don't always invest in fintech or healthcare because you'll just,
diversification.
Diversification is the clue. Being prepared for some failure, spending some really good time in choosing your business, spend time in due diligence, and somebody, one of you, if you're in a group of angels, or you, needs to give that company some time going forward. It won't grow itself. It needs your help. You need to bring access to customers, markets. You need to help them with more money as they go along. So if you involve yourself or involve someone in that company, you're likely to be able to influence the result. But you have to be prepared as an angel to say, well, I've followed my instinct, I've done all that.
And I got it
in the
wrong.
end, market forces happen, things go wrong, and so this can happen. But if that we've shown that if it's that mixed portfolio and being quite sensible about what you choose to invest in, it isn't the first thing that comes along. Yes.
Okay, so just to wrap up, 2016.
Yes.
Give me a few bullet points about the year ahead.
Okay. 2016, you can have a very confident year in that you will have so much deal flow you won't know what to do with it. So what you really need to be doing is thinking, I said, very hard about what your personal interests are. Follow the market, look at what other people are investing in. I've mentioned a few areas that I think are going well for angels. Internet of Things, very hot. Robotics, things that you can actually make something work from a distance, like put your heating on, measure things that have remote sensors. All of those kind of areas are going to be very interesting in the year going forward. There will be, I think, some good exits going forward. There's been some great deals done. Be careful, there's not going to be a bubble though. And I would certainly say watch the valuations. Make sure you're not paying too much.
Wise words indeed. Jenny Tooth, OBE, absolutely delightful to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.